the first episode, I believe, came out for Black Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the strategies that we spoke about, 4 or 5 months ago, some of them I've completely changed in just that short time frame, right? And I think this is going to be like the go forward plan for the rest of 23.
So, episode 10, season 1, and it literally feels like yesterday when we started. We're still here in our Chew on This swag. We're still here at Corny Point Studio, recording. Pep is here, getting all our backup footage. And what's crazy is I think we've covered so much in season 1, to the point where it's like we literally broke down a 4-year-old business down to like every detail. And what's crazy is even while we've been producing each episode, so much has changed in the climate, right? Like we've talked about things that we've done. We've talked about things that we're doing. And I think today's episode, there's probably no better way to end this season and maybe talk about what we're going to be doing. Mainly because if you look at kind of the climate we're in with insane interest rates, coming fresh off a bank collapsing and luckily the government bailing it out, coming off a time where like what we talk about all the time, like we are pre-recession, post iOS stuff. There's so many things that have happened. And I think what's really crucial is what are we doing going forward, right? And I think let's try and touch all things marketing, retention, finance, as much as we can cover in this episode, because we've done a lot, but what we're going to do next is probably way more important for the sustain part of Obvi.
Right. I think it's super important to even understand that the first episode, I believe, came out for Black Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the strategies that we spoke about, 4 or 5 months ago, some of them I've completely changed in just that short time frame, right? So it just goes to show you how important it is to keep pivoting as certain things come up, right? Whether they're economical or whatever it is, things with their business, you have to keep testing. You have to keep pivoting in order to maintain efficiency, scale, growth, or even in this time, just staying above water, right? So I kind of want to get into a lot of the marketing stuff. And the strategies that we've now implemented are a little bit different than what I've kind of talked about over the last few months. And I think this is going to be like the go forward plan for the rest of 23.
Yeah, I think one of the big pieces that I think we've seen happen over the last, even call it just 6 months, are a lot of like aha moments. Mm-hmm. And so let's jump into how we'll break this episode down is like a lot of aha moments that have triggered different things. I think the first aha moment was product, right? And I remember it was like maybe like October of last year, and you're like, dude, there's something we've just learned about our product that we never knew. Mm-hmm. So maybe talk a little about product market fit and product in general.
Yeah. So let me set the scene, right? Pre-iOS update, right? I hate to keep, beating on this, but I think it's very important for people to understand why product market fit is so important. It always has been, but it is more important now that you nail that just to drive efficiency compared to what people were doing 2 years ago, right? So set the scene. Everybody, every website, every brand has a Facebook pixel on their site. It's collecting data. You go to a Vital Proteins, you go to Avi, you go to Dr. Axe, you go here, you go there. Facebook knows everything you're doing, right? It sounds creepy, but that is what personalized ads was all about, right? You head to, your feed. You're going to start seeing ads for stuff that's super relevant to you, right? Facebook knows that you are in the market for a product, right? I'm going to keep the example of collagen. They know you want a collagen, okay? You've been to so many different websites, or even if you've just been to one, right? That signals them to now show you, all right, here are all the collagen ads that we have in our library, right? So now what ends up happening is that Facebook is able to show your product to people who are already in market, okay? So it's easier for them to come to the website, kind of graze through and see your value props and then purchase, right? Because they're already in market for it. Fast forward to now, they don't have that data. Half of that data is gone, right? iOS pretty much opted out 90+% of the people. So they don't know what people are searching for, what they're doing and what they're in the market for, right? So now you as a brand have to actually use social media marketing to now address problems and create a solution for those problems, right? It's not, in fact, I think it might be easier to even like get into Google now because search is so huge on intent, but for a lot of brands, it's super expensive. But there's still a way that you can attract the right market on social media, right? So what do you do is how well do you know your customers?
Right.
Okay. What we decided to do is, listen, we've had like, I think over 10,000 reviews on the website. We have a couple thousand reviews on Amazon. We have our post-purchase setup on after checkout. Okay. And utilizing all three of these things, we are understanding what our customer is actually buying for. Okay. Right. We might think that they're buying for a certain reason, but there is the actual reason that they're buying, right? Yep. We're thinking, okay, cool, they're here for hair loss, this and that, but what about it? What triggered the hair loss for them? Why are they going through that, and how can this help them? Right. So what we end up doing is we export all this data, right? And I toss it into like an Excel sheet, okay? What I do is, you'll have the people who are like, yeah, I love this product. This product is great. It's not very helpful. But what I end up doing is, the little hack is in the column next over to your reviews, I put in a formula, right? How long is this review section, right? Or the text in this box, and I sort it by length, right? So all your long reviews are at the top. And you can kind of go through. These are the reviews that are the stories, right? These are the I went through this issue, I went through that issue, I've been trying this, I tried that, nothing worked, and finally tried this. This is why I like it. This is why I bought it. And you're like, wow, this is gold, right? So going through that, right, it allows you to create and pull out the angles and actually create a little bit more of that efficient product market fit, right? Like I said, you know why you're selling this product, but why is that customer actually buying it is huge, right? So reviews, huge. Post-purchase surveys, I think I mentioned this before, but just set those up and ask the questions, why did you buy from us? Right. What is the reason, right? And that, people will tell you what's going on, right? And another thing that's super, super helpful is go to your competitors' reviews on Amazon. Amazon, because they can't hide bad reviews, go through their 1-star reviews and actually pick out why the reasons they hate this product and address that for your product, right? So I'll give you an example. Vital Proteins, unflavored collagen. The number 1-star review reason is it doesn't mix well. It tastes horrible and everything. I have to add 100 different ingredients to get it to taste good, right? We're flavored collagen. You only need 1 scoop and some milk, and that's it, right? So that is our angle. Hey, forget about the unflavored protein. Forget about Vital. You don't have to mix 100 different things. You have 1 scoop and one liquid, right? That in itself is an angle, right? So product market fit is coming up with the right angles, and it's not just around benefits of your product. And I really thought that's what it was, because all of last year it was say goodbye to hair loss, say goodbye to wrinkles, this and that, and it worked. But it's not really getting the right audience. It's just addressing this larger reason of all right, I'm maybe suffering from hair loss because of this or this or this, and it's still super broad. So once you narrow down into the reasons, that is where you'll start to see efficiency. That's when you'll start to see your click-through rates go up. Right. Your thumb-stop ratios improve, your hold rates improve, and your conversion rate. Right.
I think one piece on that too, like you've mentioned, is the whole piece of using it for angles, right? I think so much of it is creativity block that a lot of marketers kind of go through. I think sometimes that creativity that you need is already within your ecosystem. You just have to kind of sift through it differently. So I think that's an awesome hack, and probably everyone should do it. Cool. Let's jump, kind of pivot more into kind of how to focus on actual content creation, right? You hear so much around what different angles people are taking with content. And so, what is the real, true, authentic way and approach that at least you've seen work and what you're going to be doing going forward?
Yeah. So like I said, the last year we've relied heavily on static ads just so that we can get that main like hook out into the audience and attract the right person, right? That's why when you use statics, you have the right headline on it, you have a higher CPC, but the conversion rate is a lot higher, right? Because you're getting that exact person.
Right.
The problem with that is that if you're in a very competitive market like we are, and a lot of other brands are too, the problem here is that Facebook is now playing catch up, right? If somebody comes to my website for collagen or whatever it is, I've gotten that person to click on the ad, right? Facebook doesn't know what bucket they fall into, but I've now used my ad to get them to click on a hair loss ad.
That's right.
They're now going to go and see 100 different brands that it may not just be collagen, but it's going to be other solutions for hair loss, right? Now, Facebook is trying to utilize that data and try to bucket appropriately. And it happens to me because now I see ads, like obviously I see our ads, but like I'm going to see other ads for like Nutrafol, Hims, Rogaine, organic like oils to help with hair loss. You're not just fighting against your competitors, you're fighting against other categories, right?
True.
So how can you showcase that your product is actually going to be the solution for everything? It's going to be very difficult.
Right.
It's going to be very, very difficult. So one of the biggest things that we've decided to do now is not try to go after and be the number one solution for hair loss in every category and beat out every category. It's how can we beat out just our category, right? And that comes down to like the actual content that we create. And it's here's why your current collagen sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Here's 3 reasons why you should switch to this, right? That is what's actually going to help limit the exposure to the rest of the market that you're trying to compete with and just kind of dial in on the industry that you're trying to be in and try to extract those customers out of there.
Yep.
Right? It's easier to sell to somebody who already understands what collagen is, right? It's harder to explain to them the science behind it because one, they may not even believe it. Two, it's all the science thing and you don't want to like have to go through and explain that to somebody in 20 seconds, right? So go for like the low-hanging fruit because the low-hanging fruit is still, especially in our industry, what is it, collagen, a $10 billion market? We're fine taking market share in there. You don't need to go out and do everything, right? So key thing here is try to stay within your vertical. Try to make content that is attracting the customers in that vertical and don't go too broad.
Yep.
Get specific and make sales from taking market share from somewhere else, at least at the moment now.
Yep.
Right.
And do you think one of the things in, just kind of this whole creative testing and creative ideologies and stuff, how important is it to like making sure that you're getting across, like how important is it to make sure that a customer who's maybe clicking through this is coming, like how, if you had to give on a scale of 1 to 10, how almost educated do you want them to be before the full landing page even loads? Have you kind of consider that, like, oh, I want this person to be like moderately educated, or like, you know what, I just want them to like kind of know that they're coming for collagen, I'll do the rest here? Like, what's that scale look like from what the content needs to kind of educate the person on? Yeah,
so I think this is where the argument of like, do I use statics, do I use videos, do I use GIFs, and the short answer is you should use all of it, right? Because like you said, you're going to have a diverse group of people who either have knowledge on the subject, a little bit, or none at all. Right. Static images are great for quick testing concepts. GIFs are really good because you kind of get that lower CPM because it's kind of a video. And then videos are really good because it's educational, long form, and you can really expand on the concepts that you're proving out with static images, right? So for example, static images pair really, really well with like listicles and like expanded long form pages because you're not selling on social, you're selling the click, right? You're not selling the product there, you're selling the click, and then you're getting them to the landing page, and your landing page does the heavy lifting, right? Videos are probably where you're selling on social so that literally when they get to the website, they're just looking to buy. Right? So having a mix of all this is really good because, like I said, in this like broad group of audience, you're going to have people who really know what collagen is. They're diehard fans. they may be looking for an alternative, and a static image is all they need.
Yeah.
Just to see our cool branding, our cool flavors. Let the landing page sell them, right? On the other additional information about our collagen. Then you got people who are like, yeah, I've heard of collagen, considering it. Now you go to take them through the video.
Yep.
Why Avi? It's got this, this, and this. I can make cool recipes with it. Here's the testimonials, this and that. All right, cool. I'm sold on it. Let me get to the landing page.
Yeah.
Like you'll see in these heat maps, like on Clarity, for example, there's a good amount of people that come to the above the fold and just immediately hit buy now then go straight to the buy box.
Right.
And like they missed the entire educational piece, but like they're already sold on social, which to me shows that our ads are doing really well.
Right.
But then you're gonna have the people who need to go and kind of go through everything. So I think it's an important thing to mix up the media mix.
Yep.
Because it does attract different audiences at the same time. But I think there's use cases for proving out concepts with statics first because it's the easiest to make. You know?
No, it's like for a non-marketer, I almost take it away as like a takeaway of like even within top of funnel, it's like you have top of funnel within that, which is like a static, and then middle of the funnel, which can be like a GIF, and then your bottom of the funnel within your top of funnel can be your video. So I think it's a really good approach of kind of breaking the norm of, hey, everything's video now, right? Cool. So I think from there, right, knowing what, like who you need to cater to, what you need to create, let's go into how to create it. I think, you know, a lot of people kind of are a little overwhelmed because the rise of like available UGC creators or the rise of available content agencies, it's just immense to the point where like, you know, you have that paradox of choice. When there's too much choice, you can't make a choice. So maybe break down kind of how the team you've built out and what's the value in that team.
Yeah, I agree. I think the biggest thing when brands are kind of at our stage or even just before, right, is that you need to start thinking about how you have an in-house team, right? Our in-house team looks like we have 2 graphic designers, video editor, and then kind of like a content creator, right? And then on top of that, we're also utilizing a content house or an agency, right? And every person has their need in the business, right? Video editor, like shout out to Pep. He will literally take every single asset that we're getting from everywhere.
Incredible.
And just chop it up and create a story, right? So whether you're getting it from a UGC creator or you're getting it from the content creator in-house or statics or whatever it is, you could just mash up a bunch of shit whenever you need it and you can pump it out, right? Video is so key. Video editor is what you need, okay? Then you got graphic designers. When I say graphic designers, we have one that's remote. Shout out to Lizzie. You know, she'll focus on static images, static ads. You know, I'll kind of give her the direction of, all right, here's the headlines that we want to test. Here's the USPs I want on the images, and let's test these out, right? She's also responsible for helping me test landing pages, right? So swapping out different elements on landing pages, have, you know, design, you know, different blocks and testing that. So like that's crucial because I can get those on the fly, right? Content creator in-house is super, super helpful because like, hey, you need a voice bite. Like Pep needs, I just need this voice bite here, or I need a clip of somebody throwing the pills up in the air or blowing the powder in somebody's face, right? Like that you could do in-house right on the fly. Because as he's creating and he notices he needs something, get somebody to create it right away. Right. What's really important is where you're sourcing all the additional content, right? So we have the content agency who has a network, right? This is something to look for when you're looking for an agency, is do they have a network of creators? Is that network of creators, do they have people that are kind of in your demographic? Yes. Right? For us, it's like, it's tough because our demographic is a little bit older. And when you think UGC creators, you think about 20-year-olds on TikTok. We're actually looking for 35 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus creators. And for an agency to have access to that is huge for us.
It's big.
Right? These agencies should be able to do video and static and GIFs, right? And their turnaround time needs to be quick, right? And the cherry on top is that they should have some type of creative strategist on the team, right? Because if you don't, then it really falls on the brand to provide that, and you really don't, like, for me, I don't have time. Like, I don't have time to draw out the briefs in a way that's effective for us and getting the right results.
That's
I
right.
need somebody to actually be very detailed in what we need. So whether that comes from the agency or somebody in-house, that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And then we have our like lifestyle photographers, right? Shout out to Bird Hill. Like, just need really cool shots of the product,
Yep.
right? In the places that that product is going to be used, whether it's in the kitchen or the bathroom or whatever it is on your bedside table. Like, that content needs to be shot because you can only get so far with renders.
That's right.
Right. So I think creating the team that will help you scale and pump out anywhere from 10 really solid creatives to, if you're testing, 30 or 40.
Yep.
Right. So having a team in place is super crucial. And I think that's what we're really doubling down on is getting all the pieces together where the whole like infrastructure just makes sense to pump out creative.
Yeah, no, I think that's super crucial. And I think the one highlighting piece, and even when assembling this team, which I think like Pep's an excellent example of, it's like you want these people to have some level of being able to think on their own and like go on their own too. Because like you said, if you had to micromanage every piece and almost become like a factory worker that moves to every station, the end product would take forever to finish. Right. So I think it's like when you're even looking for some of these talent pieces, like you want people who can kind of also, hey, like, I know you're probably busy. Here's what I've come up with. Now give me what your thoughts are too, which I think you've assembled people who can work like that. But then also, hey, this is actually not working. I need you to fully pivot, can kind of move. So awesome. So I think, again, after talking about how all of this can be engineered, the next piece is like, what is the value you're giving to that customer, right? So like talking about offer and landing page structure, maybe dive into a little bit of like how you're kind of pivoting into really focusing on offer. And what does this landing page or experience look like?
Yeah. So if you're utilizing landing pages right now, I urge you to continue to test these. If you're not utilizing landing pages, you really should, right? There's so many tools out there like Shogun or Replo or, shout out to Nick Sharma Hooks, right?
Yep.
I mean, they made us a page that's absolutely beautiful. And these are the things that you need to be successful, right? There's two different things, right? Like I was saying, you sell on social versus you sell on the landing page, right? If you're unable to sell on social, then you need a landing page. And that's where you get very specific about the product, the USPs and everything. And that's how you can kind of tailor this journey of from click to education to purchase, right? I'm sure people know how important landing pages are. We've been talking about it for years now, but there's so many different types that you can go through, right? So enhanced product pages where you do have very like a normal product page, but under the fold is all the information that you'd possibly need, right? Versus just like description, benefits, reviews, right? Having that whole like educational piece under the buy box, under the fold is one version of test. What we do is a lot of sales landing pages. So you got your main banner, your main USP, take them through the journey of what the product is, what does it do, benefits, why is it better than the rest of the market, testimonials, offer, buy box, reviews, right? Then you got things like listicles and editorials, right? Listicles, I think, is super underrated because you can test so many different angles on your ads and change up just the copy on the listicle without having to change the entire format of a landing page, right? So, for example, our sales landing page is very, like, it's created for one type of audience in mind, and it's broad. Listicles can get very, very specific, right? So say, for example, you are looking for collagen and you were losing hair because you had thyroid issues, right? I can talk about the reasons why collagen can help thyroid issues in a listicle, but I can't put that in my sales landing page because, one, it takes too long to dev out. The listicle is just swapping out text, and you can text that angle like that, right? Designer, can I get 3 ads that say, thyroid issues, get help with collagen, whatever it is, right? And then send it to a listicle. I can test that angle in 24-hour turnaround time. Landing pages, I need to design it, I need to dev it, and I need to QA it. It's just a long process, right? So when you're first starting out or you're trying to test a new audience, listicles I think is huge. So utilize that. And then when you need to kind of get into maybe more sales landing pages, editorials is huge. That is something where I think there's certain brands that will do well with it because it's that social proof outside of the brand, right? I think there's a certain demographic that does like to see the social proof, the reviews, or whatever it is. So it's like, is it, an article about Avi versus Vital Proteins?
Right.
Taste, Avi wins. Price, Vital wins. Mixability, Avi wins. Overall, Avi wins. Right? Like that is what people like to read. Right? They're on social to be entertained or educated or whatever it is.
Right.
Taking them through this comparison is a good way to kind of do that, and it doesn't look branded, and it's like, oh, somebody really reviewed this. All right, buy now. Let me go and check it out on Amazon or whatever it is. So that is a little bit more advanced, I think, because there's a lot of services that can do that.
Yep.
And it's tough to create a domain on your own and create an actual editorial, this and that. It's tough, but if you can do it, it's a great way to test traffic if you have that demographic that is into reading that long form copy. So for offer on your landing pages, I think is like probably the most crucial part too, because you want to get people to act right away, right? People don't have extra money to spend right now, right? So can your offer be enticing to where they click, look at the landing page and buy right away? That is our goal, right? Using, things like, or tactics like scarcity where, you have a countdown, you have a sale ends tonight type of, verbiage. And yeah, it can be a little bit spammy, but like these are the direct response tactics that work, right? Yeah. So when you look at certain things, it's, we use verbiage around, back in stock, new, today only. Like you may not think that actually helps, but it really does.
Especially look at the climate we're in.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly, right? People are looking for deals. People are looking to save money. How can you show that, right? And so one of the biggest things is also on top of all that, we utilize free gifts, right? We use free gifts in the essence of also offering additional products that we offer, right? That maybe lower, cost of goods that we can kind of tack on, get them to try that and maybe have them buy that product again. Free shipping. Everybody loves free shipping. Utilizing that somehow. So like, say for example, you sell one product, for $40, your free shipping threshold is 50 or 75. It'll nudge them to buy that bundle, so things like that is huge for getting AOV up. And price anchoring is huge, right? On our burn landing page, we have the options of 1, 3, and 6 month supply. I don't expect anybody to buy 6 month supply right off the bat, but I'm making that look a little bit intimidating, but I'm making the 1 month offer look really kind of useless. And the 3 month just looks perfect, right? And that's AOV. Why like 40% of our purchases are that 30 month supply, which is powerful. Huge, right? That's huge. So that's probably one of the biggest things. And one of the newest things that we're testing is, shout out to the guys at Fondue, is cashback versus discounts, right? Real quick, cashbacks will save you so much money at the brand level. I'll give you a quick example. Say you offer 15% off discount. Drive $10,000 in sales, 15% is $1,500. That's gone. That's gone, right? So your gross net is already at $8,500, right? Cash back, you have $10,000 in sales, 20% cash. You can offer more, 20% cash back. They're still paying full price, so you are getting that cash up front. The where they get the cash back is on the back end, right? The cool part is that from the stats that we've seen is that 50% of the people that get the cash back don't even utilize it anywhere. 30%, right? 30% of the people that get cash back want it as a gift card to Avi, and the rest choose a Visa gift card. Okay. Now, out of that $10,000, the actual cost to us in the discount is anywhere from $300 to $500 that are given out in Visa gift cards. When you look at the opposite side on discounts, on a $10,000 sale, you're already giving out $1,500 right off the bat. Right. So you're limiting that exposure and you're adding back that cash to your bottom line. So test out cashback versus discounts. It's huge.
So I think when it comes to, high level approach in terms of, let's say, your core marketing principles, right? Again, knowing your customer, content structure, team, offer, landing page creation, experience, all those things are, I think, still realms in the idea of a marketer. I think let's really let you nerd out for a second and go into something that falls really into media buying, right? Which is, I think, an age-old debate now. I think you've been fired up about it, as every other media buyer, is structure of your account, structure of your campaigning method, all of those kind of really intricate pieces. And again, if you're not a media buyer, still tune in here, because you probably know your media buyer, and you can share this. And there's a reason he's wearing this part, because I think he's about to go ham on this. So go into structure and just really break it down to us.
So structure. Okay. There's so many debates. I even tweeted this out probably a couple months ago. What do you like to test with? ABO or CBO, right? ABO is ad set budget optimization, or CBO, which is campaign budget optimization. Ad set budget, naturally you set the budgets at the ad set level. Campaign budget, you set the budgets at the campaign level, right? With ad set budgets, you are basically able to test different ideas in their own environment at different budgets. Campaign budget optimization is, say you're testing 2 or 3 concepts, you set the budget at the campaign level. Facebook will decide where to allocate the money. Okay. Both have its, pros and cons. I used to be a big CBO guy. The problem is that we're spending so much money on getting content from all these other creators. We're getting so much content from, the team in-house, all for Facebook to not spend any money on it. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, a lot of people say spend is what proves out a concept or an ad or whatever it is, right? But spend is directly correlated to the highest estimated action rate, okay? What that means is if this specific ad has better engagement than something else, that's where Facebook is going to push the spend to, okay? Problem here is that if you have an ad that is very clickbaity or has like a very aggressive hook and it's getting people in, but it's not converting them, Facebook is going to spend a ton on this and it's not going to get any conversions. And you're not going to understand why, right? Versus if I can test individual ideas, then I'll know what's actually working and what's not working, okay? Then within that, if I need to test against each other, I will use a CBO. But when I'm testing different concepts, whether it's our editor at in-house's concept or some UGC from the creator or static images, I want to test those separately because I want to have more control. I want to understand what the traffic metrics are so I can refine the tactics that I'm using, right? Say on a static image, my CTR is really high. Do I need to adjust the image? Do I need to adjust the headline?
Yep.
Making those changes are super crucial to making that CTR a little bit better, right? And the actual CPC as well. Videos, right? I want to understand if I have a concept that I want to work on, say it's a minute-long concept, and I have different elements in the video, I want to know which video is providing the most value.
Right.
So testing those against each other, right? And then looking at things like CTR, click-through rate, your thumb stop ratio and your hold ratio, and then seeing where the drop-off is 25% of the way, 50%, 75% of the way of the video, right? So I want to be able to control what I'm testing. And then the other thing here is you still have, control in moving your winners into a CBO or your whatever scaling campaigns. And that's what we use. We use CBO on broad. We're using advantage shopping campaigns. And so this is our 2 scaling campaigns. Basically, in our testing, what we're doing is we're starting our budgets at maybe like $250 a day, finding success, bumping up the budget, right? One of the biggest mistakes marketers make is you're testing something on a low budget. That means that it's entering the auction at a lower bid and it's going for that lower hanging fruit. As you scale, one, CTR is going to kind of drop, CPC is going to kind of go up. Can this creative perform at scale? Right. So within testing, we start to kind of scale up and see if it can handle from a $250 budget to a $1,000 budget. If that works, cool, I'll now move it into scale because I know it has the legs to compete with the other winners, right? One of the biggest things now is media buyers have to have patience. Don't touch the ad account more than twice a week, right? Wow. And even if you're spending less than $10,000 a day, don't touch it for more than once a week, right? Pick a day, set up your tests on, say it's a Monday, launch your test on a Monday. Don't touch it. Then Facebook needs the data, and the first 3 days are gonna suck, right? You have to let it run, let it go through the week, and see what it figures itself out, and that's the way to actually find creatives that will actually work. Don't cut things after a day or so, because Facebook has that 72-hour delay. You're not gonna know, right? The learning phase, hot take, the learning phase is a real thing, right? If you have a majority of your budget in the learning phase, your ad account is gonna be super volatile, which is why they say 10% of your total budget should be allocated towards testing. Make sure that only 10% of your ad account is in learning phase as well. If you're adding a ton of tests into the mix, your whole ad account becomes volatile. So make sure you're under 10% in learning phase and testing budget. Attribution windows. Another thing that we've argued about online with other media buyers, this and that. 7-day click, 1-day click, or 7-day click, 1-day view. If you have a business like ours where we have a lot of retention, or you have a business that has other channels, influencers or TikTok or whatever it is, adding in that 1-day window is actually going to over attribute sales in your Facebook's ads manager, and you're going to think that something is crushing when it's really not, right? What I would highly suggest doing is moving to a 7-day click or a 1-day click so that you can actually obtain incremental results and only have your ads optimized on a click-through basis, right? So if somebody sees my ad, they click and they buy, that's the buyer I want to model off the rest of the purchases on. Not somebody who saw an influencer post about Avi, just so happened to go on Facebook, saw an ad, and then bought. I don't want that. I want clear-cut Facebook. I want you to drive incremental results. And utilize an attribution tool. Triple Whale is our favorite. The biggest thing here is that not only are you going to understand what's happening, right, in the sense of we were talking about it this morning, we launched a new funnel, and on Facebook, results look great. On our blended ROAS, results look great.
Crazy.
But it wasn't driving any new customers. Right? Even with exclusions in place, it was driving existing customers to buy the new product that we're pushing on a new funnel. Our whole point is top of the funnel. We're trying to acquire customers. It didn't make any sense, right? So using an attribution tool will actually show you that, hey, you had 100 purchases, but only 10 were new customers. That's when you realize, okay, something's going on, let me adjust. Analyzing everything in terms of performance metrics, right? ROAS, CPA, and CPA are great because that's what you need to hit to scale the business. But look at the softer metrics. Like I said, click-through rates, CPCs, your thumb stop ratios, your hold rates, your drop-off rates through the videos. If a lot of these are like, for example, CPC, if your CPC is very high, chances are it's going to be very tough to scale. Right? It's easier to scale ads that have a decent, cost of traffic, have a really nice thumb stop ratio, hold rate. That is important because at low scale, it might work. But when you start to bump this up, it's very difficult to scale. So that's the ad account structure. If you feel differently about it, let me know. But that's what we've been doing. Talking a lot about marketing and acquisition, but
Killed it.
I know this is a long one. I'm getting dizzy. But the biggest piece right now is that no matter what you do to optimize, acquisition costs are still going to be a little bit more expensive than they used to be. So you really need to dial into retention and how can you uphold positive cash flow. So king of finance over here, talk about that. But retention is also what you've been working on too. So let's get into that.
I think some of the big pieces on retention, I think it boils down. I actually boils up to one of the pieces is understanding who you're selling and what you're selling to them. And so a lot of us run businesses with different SKUs. And I think it took us a while where inherently we knew this, but we never acted on it, was don't take your brand and try to retain every customer. Take your product and try to retain the customer that bought that product. And I think that shift that we've done where now our best selling products are each getting their own custom retention flow down to if you bought just this SKU, you're going to have 8 totally different emails come up to you than from if you bought another SKU from us, which is going to have 8 totally different emails. And it's not just changing out the banner, right, on the product. It's not just changing out the name of the product in a flow. It's actually completely rehabilitating your flows to make sure that you're talking to a single product. I think that has been like the big theme. Now, like, wow, how we've kind of jumped into it is obviously really using our tools to our advantage, like your Klaviyo, Postscripts of the world. But I think another big one has been for us is like Tapcart, right? It's like we've done I think a really, really good job about making sure that the people who know they need to buy, the people who are our regulars, we've made it super easy for them, right? We're taking them to an experience where here you go, here's a product at your fingertips, and checkout is super simple. And I think those pieces, how like our email, SMS, and our push notifications are working together, it's like almost creating custom, kind of like you even mentioned in the beginning of the pod, like almost personal, right? We're going super personal with our approach with retention, because I think people are catching on to the fact that we're like, when you just blast a 20% off thing and say, come and shop on my site again, like, no. Yep. Why should I shop there, right? I think those have been the key things. One of the things that we're doing that I'm super excited about, I know me and you have been talking about it, and shout out to Inveterate for like actually helping us cross the finish line on this, because it's launching as we speak here. But memberships, there are a lot of loyal customers, and I think sometimes we just bucket them as loyal customers because their LTV is really high, and their spend is really high, and their frequency of purchase is really high. But like, what are you doing for them that completely actually separates them, right? And I think one thing that we're launching is a really cool membership program. On a business economics point, it's creating free cash flow for us, right? Because there's really not too much cost associated to it. We're going to be charging about $100 or $129, where people will get a lifetime discount code, a free gift when they sign up. They're going to get first access to different products. They're going to get first access to different free gifts. And they're also going to get the ability to pick our next products. So we're creating this membership club where it's like, hey, we know you're super loyal. Now completely come here and have a badge and a trophy around it, right? So like, it's like, think about it. We're all joining these like membership clubs and in person and stuff like that. So why not treat your customer base like that too? So super excited about that. And then I think one other piece that I'll just mention is like on the product development end, I think we've taken a lot of good leaps in making sure that we're taking all of the feedback that we've accumulated across so many platforms and understanding what people's feedback is and saying, hey, we're going to go and obviously iterate on our product, but then we're going to go back and also try and win back some of these people. And I think product development a lot of times is always just tied to innovation. Sometimes product development is actually going back and iterating and just redoing your product. And similar to how so many things have negative scenarios or negative like stigmas, redoing your product is not negative. Right. It's actually doing a better job at trying to retain people. I think those are some of the bigger categories in retention that we have kind of going on as we speak.
Yeah. I think one thing that even the product development side actually also helps fuel acquisition too. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You have to be competitive, right, on top of the funnel. So even when we talk about product development, it's also like, okay, well, what feature in this product can really be highlighted in marketing?
That's right.
And where can we stand out? So it's how do we make a really good product by also being able to market it in a very unique way too. Yeah. So helps retention mostly, but really helps acquisition too. So for the last time on season 1,
the last chew
before we come back with season 2.
Yep.
The chew that I want people to get from this is literally open up whatever app you're using for reviews, export them right now, put them in a Google Sheet. In the column that's next to the actual review, there's a formula. It's equal LEN parenthesis the review box, and it'll give you a number, right? That's the length of characters in the box. Sort it by descending, right? So that you put your biggest and longest reviews at the top, and just go through that. Those are the ones that are full of the golden nuggets. Pick those out, write down your notes on like a Notion pad or a notepad, whatever it is, and come up with 10 new angles that you can hit. Easiest way to win, easiest way to differentiate yourselves, because if you're in a competitive market like us, we're all probably using the same hooks, the same angles. Do something different. And that's one way to get some additional insight on your consumers.
I love that. I think something to on my end for something to chew on is take your top 2 best sellers and go and purchase them you individually. Okay. Buy them separately and go and actually write down what emails and what SMS you're getting over the course of the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Okay. It's going to take a little bit of time. Just write it all down, and you go and kind of put yourself out of your shoe for a second and say, would you, through this flow that you're getting, this post-purchase flow, would you go and buy this again? If the product for some reason wasn't perfect or wasn't exactly there, is this flow going to at least push you over? And if it isn't, ask yourself why. And second thing is, if it is all just one generic flow, I really push you guys to at least create 2 extremely personalized, hyper-segmentized flows for your 2 best sellers. So as we wrap up season 1, I think, first of all, we have to give a shout out to like what made this happen. We've literally had nearly 500,000 minutes listened.
Chewed on.
Literally, that's great. Yeah, 500,000 minutes chewed on across 70 or 80 different countries. It's all like just insane statistics that we don't even get a second to look at and enjoy. But why are we able to do this? Why do we have, which I'll arguably biasly say, we have the best setup in the podcast game? It's because of our sponsors. And so just a moment for them. Tapcart, go and create an app for your company, your business. You need it. Doesn't matter about the size of your business. Postpilot, direct mail will bring your overall blended CAC down. I think you can confidently say that. Bring your retention rate up. Direct mail works. It's been working for us. Parker, go and get net terms on large purchases such as ad spend, inventory, by using a credit card like Parker, where you can get up to net 30, net 60, and up as of recently, net 90 on your terms. Plastiq, which is giving you the ability to pay an ACH payment via a credit card so the money doesn't leave your bank account right away. These are things you need. Every single one of our sponsors is stuff we use and things we need. I think overall too, shout out to Kearney Point Studio for creating this setup, right? I mean, we're using like $500,000 worth of inventory in here to record insane amount of content for you guys. And also shout out to co-host Ash. I think it's been an amazing season of just being able to maybe break away from work upstairs and just like chat, have a drink, and enjoy putting out what we love to do. And that's all. Thank you for tuning in. But season 2, you want to give them a little preview of what we're doing?
Season 2 is going to be a little different. I think we've talked quite a bit about how we've built up Avi. And I'm sure people have found, golden nuggets, and I hope you have, right? But for season 2, what we really want to do is we want to elevate the experience, and we want to bring in guests that you haven't heard from before. We want to bring in the top guns, the top dogs, in the D2C space, so that you can learn from their perspective of what they're seeing, right, in the landscape with the issues that are coming up, or acquisition, retention. So we want to bring in those specialists, talk about their experience, our experience, and do it in a studio that is absolutely beautiful. So for the last time for season 1, chew on that.
Chew on that.